Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you from cloudy San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, and purposeful coach and speaker in the world. Hope you guys are ready for a fantastic Tuesday. You're one thing away from massive success in every area of your life. Just one thing. You know, the thing I loved about the original Karate Kid and Mr. Miyagi was that everybody is looking for an event to create a significant change that will be permanent. And there may be events that are the catalyst, but it's never an event. It's never a wave the magic wand and you're a princess in a pumpkin and life is grand. There may be events or catalysts that may be positive, and mainly they're negative experiences that create that charge of energy that says, I've got to change, I've got to be different, it's time for me to do something now, I've got to take action. Now you can activate this muscle and you can learn to train yourself to do this without there having to be a cataclysmic catalyst, and it takes time. And it's typically wax on, wax off, paint up, paint down. Nothing that is majestic or glorious or unbelievable or fireworks are going off. It is the laborious day after day after day after day. If you get a chance to look at Michael Phelps commercial for Under Armour, I believe it is, it talks about these are the things that a champion does in the dark when nobody else sees. Champions are not made in the ring, they're only revealed there. They're made in the daily grind and practice that nobody sees. The pain, the process is what makes the champion. So what do I mean? You're one thing away from massive success in every area of your life. Gary Keller, the founder of Keller Williams Realty, now the largest real estate company in the world, wrote a book called The One Thing. If you haven't read it, I suggest it. It's not a real estate only book. It's a book about a focusing question. And here is the focusing question to ask yourself in your spiritual life, physical life, mental life, emotional life, business life, work life, relationship life, each area of your life, your financial life. This is the focusing question. You're going to want to get a pad and pen to really work through this process. The focusing question. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? Oh, I know you have a million ideas. Well, if I could do this, and then I could do that, and then I would do this, and then I would do that, and then I would do this, and then I would do that. And I get that. There's enthusiasm and excitement when we begin to explore the possibilities of discovering what we're capable of becoming. And yet, 98% of the people fall away because clarity is power, and in the midst of the confusion, we miss out on the power of simplicity. The power of simplicity says, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? And that, my friends, is a very subjective answer. Only you can answer that. So here's how I do it. Just so you know, I was talking with Angela, my beautiful wife, this morning. We were having a conversation because she is preparing for another competition coming up in, I believe it's October or November. And we always get off track in our plan from time to time, so we have to refocus right away. So here's the conversation we have. Let's just have this conversation. If God comes first, and our marriage comes second, and our children come third, and our business comes last, if that's really what's happening, how can we know we're really doing that? And the most simple way to know you're really doing that is you have to be able to articulate it and teach somebody else and say, this is how we do it. You don't truly understand something until you can really begin to communicate it and articulate it to somebody else so that they can learn and grow from it. So what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier, unnecessary in my spiritual life? Prayer and reading the Word. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything becomes easier, unnecessary in my marriage? Well, I know my wife's love language. I know her love language is acts of service because I know acts of service is what's important to her. Even though physical touch is important to me, I don't pursue her with physical touch. I pursue her with acts of service. I clean her car. I fill it full of gas. I make sure that I help her around the house. I engage in what we will lovingly call chore play. Doing the chores around the house with her, partnering with her and helping with the kids, serving her, because that's how she defines love. Oh, by the way, that's a book called The 5 Love Languages of Gary Chapman. I suggest you get a copy and read it, memorize it, study it if you want to have a good marriage. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier and unnecessary? With my children, same thing. All 7 of them have a different, well, a couple of them have the same love language, but they're all different. I can't love them all the same my way, because several would miss out. One is acts of service. One is quality time. One is physical touch. One is words of affirmation. One is receiving of gifts. Okay? So I have to study and know and understand my children, so that although my time may not be significant with them on a daily basis, the time that I do spend with them, I'm hitting the bullseye. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary in my business? And that is to completely engage in studying and applying myself the principles that I'm teaching and coaching my clients. I walk the walk, I talk the talk, I drink the Kool-Aid that I serve, speed of the leader, speed of the pack. I put myself under the greatest pressure so that I can demand pressure and put it on those that I serve to help them reach their goals. So my question, what's the one thing you can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? Figure it out. One step at a time, wax on, wax off, baby. Have a great day.